talk to me a little bit about Little Link ID, because this
Yeah, that
idea
it's like
is
the yeah,
actually out there in the world now, isn't
yeah,
it?
it is. Yeah, it's been out there for about 6 weeks now, and it took me a long time to get the idea out there, to have the courage to actually get it on the socials and tell the world of my little idea that I've been creating for about, I think it was about 4 months. Yeah,
Wow.
but
And
yeah,
where did that gem of an idea come from? Just tell our listeners what you
yeah,
do and how this idea sort of started to whisper to you.
yeah. Well, I'm a registered childminder and have been for 13 years. And, we're always out and about as a setting, out and about exploring because the children out, they're more creative outside, they've got more freedom, there's no restrictions. Everyone's calmer. They can move about and explore, with their big body movements a lot more. And
Yeah.
being outside in nature just makes you feel calm and it makes you feel more yourself anyway. So, yeah, so being about out and about, and as childminders, we're always risk assessing. So, we constantly risk assess, look for dangers. It's continuous. It's all the time that the children are with you.
Mm,
And, I noticed a big gap that when we're out and about, there is no, if something happened to me, what would happen to the children?
mm,
What would happen to them? And if someone came over to help, which they would, you know, they wouldn't know who I instantly was or who the children belonged to. And then there's that big pause or that big timeline where they might need help or I might need help and no one really knows who we are.
yeah.
And as professionals looking after other people's children, I
Mm,
think it's really important that we have ID. So that's where Little Link ID came about really. But
mm,
it started off as a bracelet moment. It was just a bracelet idea, so I call it the little bracelet moment that I had.
okay.
Um, and yeah, it started off as a wearable bracelet. That I had a bracelet that I was wearing, and I had the bracelet engraved with my backup support childminder's contact number on. Um, but there was
Wow.
a few that worked, but that was always relying on one person,
Yes.
to answer the phone, and she could say, "Oh, yes, she's a registered childminder. Karina's a registered childminder,"
Mm,
and where to find her contact, the children's emergency contact information when we're out and about, because these have to be hidden away in our bags,
of course.
GDPR exposure and all that. So, yeah, it was always relying on one person, and especially as the colder season, comes
Mm.
about, we're in big coats and gloves, so the bracelet was very hidden.
Yes, and that's the thing. If something has
Yeah.
happened and somebody comes over to assist you, they're not necessarily going to think to check a bracelet. So how did it change from the bracelet then to the card?
Well, I thought about, well, and then I sort of stopped wearing the bracelet for a while, and I thought there must be a different solution. There's got to be. And I was talking to a friend, and she mentioned QR codes, and I was like, QR code? She goes, yeah, put it on the bracelet. I was like, well, it still wouldn't work because it's still hidden, and then I thought, oh, lanyard, lanyard, ID. We need ID. I've always wanted ID as a childminder. So I thought that could work. A QR code could be on the back. Yeah. And then, yeah, I got talking to a developer. The idea evolved then. It just escalated day by day. That's all I've been thinking about, hour by hour, is how can I make this one work, practical, simple, yeah, GDPR aligned
Yes.
because and I think we're there. Well, it's completely GDPR compliant, more than paper and more
Mm.
than carrying our own personal contact phones around with us because if no one can unlock your phone except you.
Yeah, exactly. And I always find it so inspiring when I listen to stories like this and meet people like you that have this spark of an idea and it will not go away. There is no
Didn't
way.
leave me.
It just doesn't leave you, does
Yeah.
it?
Didn't leave me. And literally it was on my mind constantly. And I thought about it, I thought, I can't do that. There's no way I could do this. I'm just a childminder. Who am I? I mean, I've had complete imposter syndrome throughout, and I still got it, and I think that will never leave you, but, you go to bed and you think, "See how you feel in the morning." Just see how you feel, because if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And I've sort of just rode the wave, I
Yeah.
think, with all this and thought, right, tiny bit at a time, do this tonight. And then I go to bed and I'm pure
Yeah.
exhausted. Yeah. And I think, stop thinking about it. But it just doesn't,
It doesn't leave
yeah,
you.
it
And
doesn't leave you.
I
That's when you
suppose
know it's working. You're meant to
that's
do
when
it.
you know you're meant to do it. Absolutely.